I want to bring in to discuss now Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School, to talk a little bit further about this meeting. All eyes, Alan, on Mar-a-Lago once again. This is Trump and Netanyahu's sixth meeting. The two actually met 1 year ago, almost to the day. Trump had just won the White House again, and Netanyahu was among his first international guests at Mar-a-Lago as he prepped for the presidency again. But all eyes on really phase two of the ceasefire now. What do you expect out of this meeting today?
Well, I've met with both President Trump and with Benjamin Netanyahu recently to discuss this very issue. And I think the big distinction is between Israel's security and its settlement policy on the West Bank. And I think there will be disputes about the settlement policies and about politics in Israel. But I think on the issue of security, they're on the same page. Israel must maintain its security both in Gaza and in relation to Iran. And Netanyahu, who is the security prime minister, basically, will push very hard to make sure that Iran can't develop nuclear weapons after America's heroic and successful effort to destroy the most important of Iran's nuclear reactions, and also that Hamas can't rebuild and Hezbollah can't build. So I think they'll essentially be on the same when it comes to security, but there'll be some differences when it comes to a two-state solution, settlements, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Reasonable allies tend to disagree about not security issues, but they tend to agree when it comes to the security of an ally like Israel.
Yeah, I want to ask you, I want to get to all of that in just a minute, especially Iran, but I do think the eyes of the world, as they were cast on Gaza, they had been expecting phase two of this ceasefire to be already well underway. That has not happened.
Well, Hamas has not returned all of the dead hostages. There's still one outstanding. And until that happens, the Israeli public would never tolerate moving to phase two. You get to phase two only after you complete phase one. And Hamas has not completed phase one. Once they complete, if they do complete phase one, I think there may be some disagreement about what the exact next steps are. So far, President Trump has not managed, or by Netanyahu, have not managed to gather together a force of countries that could serve as a stabilizing influence in Gaza. So at the moment, the only security guarantees that Israel has is the IDF remaining in Gaza or around Gaza to prevent another October 7th from occurring.
Meanwhile, the president of Iran saying that they are at war with the United States, Israel, and all of Europe. We know the U.S. was very successful, of course, knocking out Iran's nuclear program with Operation Midnight Hammer. I want to get your thoughts. There's been reporting that the Chinese are helping Iran rebuild its program. Netanyahu has also communicated to the U.S. that they really need to prioritize dismantling Iran's nuclear infrastructure to take this a little bit further. But Trump, he wants diplomacy first. These two men have different views on the road ahead on this.
There's no doubt about that. Israel correctly wants regime change. The world would benefit enormously from regime change. Iran, the people of Iran would, the people of Saudi Arabia would. We must get regime change. But Trump's not on board on regime change at the moment, particularly if it requires any kind of military activity. I don't think it requires military activity on behalf of the United States. I think if Trump would give Israel the green light to destroy the remaining rocket and nuclear facilities, it would be a great first step toward regime change. Iran is the cause of the Middle East conflict. There's a very interesting article in the newspapers the other day saying that the people of the Middle East are sick and tired of war, and they really want to get back to building good economies. The only way of doing that is regime change in Iran. Without regime in Iran, we will continue to see military actions in the Middle East. So if you want to take a middle or long-term view of the Middle East, it absolutely requires regime change in Iran. Without that, there will be no peace.